Please come in. You're right on time. The door only opens when the clock strikes midnight. Georgia and Hannah are preparing to broadcast from the belfry. Just like this old bell tower, they have many stories to tell. Some old and some new. Follow me up these stairs, but mind your step. Ah, they're waiting for you.
My mom told me this weekend that she loves the before the learning time yap.
Is it because that's when she learns about your life and all the stuff that happens that you don't actually tell her?
Maybe
Because
that's part of
that's,
it,
I feel like
but I
that's what
think
my mom would like it.
I think she thinks that we're just funny and silly, which we are. We're fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
She also said that every time you say, did I might have already told you this. Every time you say sorry, mom, in like reference to her,
Yeah.
she loves it.
I'm never talking about my own mom, yeah.
I know. Well,
My
your
mom
mom
doesn't
doesn't listen to the podcast.
doesn't listen and she doesn't give a shit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
where do you think I got my potty mouth from?
Yeah.
Speaking of potty mouths, uh, 2 weeks have now passed since our toilet exploded.
Oh, yeah. Throwback.
It's been a real eventful couple of weeks. I don't know. I mean, I'm the problem as to why there's no new episodes, and we're continuing to record, and that's fine. We'll get caught up. I'm actually really looking forward to being alone in a hotel room in the evenings because I feel like I can get a lot of stuff like out of my brain and onto paper, or
Something about just being alone in a
you
hotel room
know.
that just hits different. Like
hmm
in like a lot of different ways.
So I'm really hoping I can use this time to my advantage. But anyway, I'll be alone in a hotel room all week
Yeah,
because I
for a whole
leave.
week. What's Shannon gonna do? He's
I
gonna
leave.
lose his
He's
mind.
already having anxiety about it.
Oh my God.
Uh, which like he has to work, so it'll be okay. But he just
Yeah.
doesn't. He like it's our home, so he doesn't like being here alone for extended periods of time.
Yeah.
He started his job. What else
hmm
happened? Our toilet exploded. He started a job. I leave for
hmm
DC in 3 days.
Bongruff left.
Bancroft left. We've cried a lot about D&D. Um,
Yeah, I've cried 2 weeks in a row. And that was like the
um,
first time I cried in like legit cried in like a
oh
while.
my
In a
God.
quite a long time. It was impressive.
I confronted my mother
Oh.
about her passive aggressiveness.
hmm
Um, I got accepted into a fancy training at the Smithsonian, which may or may
Hell
not
yeah.
exist for much longer. You got accepted into a master's certificate.
Yep.
We both have
It's
chronic back pain.
technically a wait, what is it? It's a professionalization certificate. It's not
Yeah.
like it's
It's not like math.
technically in
Yeah.
graduate studies, but it's
Yeah.
supposed to be, it's like specifically designed, all of their professionalization certificates are specifically designed for people who are currently working in the field that this certificate is applicable to.
Yeah. I think that's, see, now I need to look into stuff like that because that's a much smarter use of time and money, I think.
hmm
Um, because that's what really frustrates me. I mean, I remember sitting in on a lecture and a girl's thesis was like literally what we are doing for our jobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I couldn't do my thesis on this because it's my job and that's fucking
Yeah.
stupid. Like,
I was talking to Mira, for those of you who aren't listening. For those of you who are listening and don't know, that's our
yeah, like
boss,
the one of you, whoever
the
you
one
are.
of you. Um, I was talking to her
Oh,
about that, about how, like, I'm sure that a lot of folks out there who go into a graduate studies program and do like collections management, curation stuff, they're literally like learning how to do and writing about the shit that we're literally
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
experts at. I was about
This
to say
girl,
masters at, but I don't like that. That's
it
an
was
icky word.
this girl, her thesis, it was basically like if you did your thesis on stabilizing the Wilkinson donation.
Right.
That was it. And I was just
Yeah.
like,
Were we both sitting at that one? Was that at SEAC? Was
no,
the one before mine?
it was one of the it was something I attended over Zoom. I think it was for the SEAC community of practice though. It was like someone they had brought in to present for
Yeah.
the community of practice. And I was just like, this is literally like I'm doing harder things than this for my literal job. I already know how to do all this. Why would I want to do my thesis on that?
That's why a lot of people say that like job experience is better than going to
Yeah.
get your degree. Like obviously now we know. And when you and I like go get whatever graduate degree we decide to get, we'll have all of this experience and we can work
Hmm.
on something that's honestly probably more exciting, like a better
Yeah.
synthesis than other
Not
graduate students could
I've
make.
been looking at Johns Hopkins.
Oh yeah? I've been looking at George Washington.
Yeah, you've been looking at
They're
George
both in
Washington.
DC, right?
Johns Hopkins is in Boston, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Shows how much I
But it's
know.
still only like a 2 hour train ride.
Yeah, exactly. We could meet in New York City. Oh my God.
Yeah, because they have one of the few, it's like a cultural heritage management. It's not like CRM or it's like actual or museum studies. It's like an
Hmm.
actual cultural heritage management.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm hoping, so everyone who doesn't already know, I'm going to DC because I want to find out how many people actually applied. They make it sound like it was a lot. Um,
I wouldn't be surprised.
but I have been accepted as one of 25 people who are going to the selection. It's called selection Smithsonian. It's called my cheeks are already like feeling the wine.
Hell yeah.
I forgot to eat lunch today. That's why I was like, I have to eat some
Oh
nuggets
my
if I'm gonna
God, you
have some
fool.
wine. I
You
was so like
fool.
hyper focused on everything. It's called the Heritage. What is it called? Fuck.
It's heart
It's Heritage. It's like
equal.
emergency and response training for Native communities. So it's basically like emergency planning and prevention and response for people who work in collections and emergency responders who would respond to such events, specifically for people who work with like in Native communities or with collections that are in trust for Native communities like our collections. Um, I don't know. There was talk of a wet salvage training, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, yeah, that's right. By the way, Johns Hopkins is in Baltimore.
Baltimore, that's where it is.
So
That's
that's
yes.
even closer.
I did know that. Yes. I would love, I think, Baltimore. Because it seems like one of those cities that's not too big, but is also like really close to a lot of other big cities.
Baltimore's huge.
But it's not like Chicago or Boston or New York.
Oh,
Also,
no.
Hairspray,
I think
hello.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Exactly.
Every day's like an open door.
Yeah.
Every night is a fantasy. Every sound's like a symphony.
Also, Teresa asked me when you start your certificate in August, question mark. And I was like, I don't know. Hannah and I have barely talked to each other for like 2 weeks. So here we are.
Yeah, there's been a lot happening. And then my parents were here, and that just
Yeah.
killed me.
Oh yeah, we've had like three almost tornadoes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. The last one I didn't even do anything.
No, yeah.
Yesterday also we almost had tornadoes. I don't know. Like the campus alert came through, but that was the only one I got. Like I didn't get
Yeah.
one from the Weather Channel or anything.
There was one where the wind was very suddenly like whipping the trees all around. That one was the only one that actually scared me. The other ones I was like worried for, but the wind was just so sudden and like you couldn't really see outside. I'm like,
Yeah,
and
I
then
know.
5 minutes later it was fine.
I also told her that like the next couple months are gonna be because I'm gone all week and then I'll be crazy prepping for the tribal visit
Mhm.
at work.
For like, I'll be gone for Easter and then shortly
You'll
after
be
for Niagara
gone and I'll be
Falls.
gone for my dad's
Hmm.
birthday. I have 3 weekends in a row that I'm just not going to be here. So my dad's birthday, then the weekend after that, I'll be in Philly for the NCM. I'm giving a whole presentation about DBE history, which is going to fucking kill it. I'm going to talk
Slay.
about
I almost said swag.
Canada cutting ties with the US and what the future of an Anglo-American looks like in current global politics.
Yeah. The
Um,
political climate of all everywhere. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
I can't I can't be I can't make it super political because DB is a nonpartisan organization. But I can say partisanship aside, you can't ignore the fact that these things are happening. This is just fact. So like what does that mean for us? And then we're road tripping to Kansas for Darren's wedding.
Yeah.
You get to see the big well.
Kind of excited. It
It's
really
like
freaked me out when I saw a picture, but
yeah, we don't have to go down it. But there's like a whole museum around the outside. They have like exhibits about the tornado and there's like stuff from the history of like Cuyahoga County and that kind of thing. So it's fun.
Nice.
I mean, I think I walked around the whole thing in like half an hour, but it's still fine.
Just have to read slow, so
Yeah, it'll be fine.
sorry, babe.
And then you have jury duty.
And then I have jury duty.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I think May 19th is my orientation day.
oh, so like right after we get back from Darren's wedding, essentially. Can't wait.
Milo, Milo, come here,
So
bitch.
much.
I'll be able to feed you in 25 minutes, you fuck.
I wish Luna was here. She's on the couch.
So what am I learning about today, Georgia?
Do you remember what you're learning about today?
No, I don't.
All right, cool. This is gonna be a wild ride.
Hell yeah, I'm so excited.
Okay. I'm
Bless you.
just gonna go ahead and top off my wine.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Ooh. Is that land that Aldi one?
Yeah, this is
The Aldi
Land
Riesling?
Castle.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
shit's good as fuck.
it's only 9.5, but it's like,
I
hell
like
yeah.
it's not too sweet. I like it.
It,
I have
to
my
me, I think it tastes like nothing, but there's a wine aftertaste. So I'm cool with it.
the one they used to carry as their like generic Riesling was better in my opinion, but it's been a
Mhm.
hot minute. I have my Target Pinot Grigio. I'm sorry, I do still buy my wine at Target because it's $5 and it's literally on my way home, but
Yeah,
their stocks are still going down, so leave me alone.
that's the only thing you buy there, and it's like every once in a while.
Yeah. Or every once in a while I get a frozen fucking lean cuisine for my lunch because I'm a dumb bitch.
Tell me why you said lean cuisine, but I pictured kids cuisine.
You pictured what?
kids cuisine.
I don't know.
And I was like, what? Why are you buying kids cuisine? The
Ugh.
the dino nuggies with the cosmic brownie?
Oh
Hell
my God, dude, like fucking would buy that for lunch if I could. Are you shitting me?
yeah.
Uh,
And it's so unseasoned too. You would love it.
I know. I got a frozen lean cuisine pizza yesterday, and as soon as I heated it up, I was like, I can already tell this has so much garlic on it, and I'm just gonna eat
Yeah.
it anyway. It's probably the only reason it's edible. Okay, we left off with Poe's death in 1849.
We show did.
Throwback.
I always forget that this chair leans back so far.
Uh-huh.
Did you hear that?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry.
Milo.
Please continue.
Um, okay, we're gonna fast forward to September 16th. There it is. 1890, France.
France.
A man named Louis Le Prince boarded a train bound for Paris and was never seen again. What does this have to do with American history? We'll get
Uh-huh.
there. We'll get there. But first, Louis Le Prince. Do you know his name?
No.
Okay, cool. Who was he? I will tell you.
Okay.
He was born in 1841 in France, shockingly.
Whoa.
And his father was actually friends with Daguerre, the inventor
Oh.
of the daguerreotype, which is, of course, the precursor to photography.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One of the random things that Shannon likes to collect is daguerreotypes. So they were friends through their military service, and Daguerre offered Louis an apprenticeship at his studio where he would teach him chemistry, painting, and photography. And I think I didn't make a note of it, but Daguerre died when Louis was still like kind of young, probably a teenager. So he continued his studies at university after Daguerre's death, and at some point he served in the military as well. I can't remember if it was like the Franco-Prussian War or something like that. I don't know. It's not important for our story. And eventually he went to Leeds, which is in Yorkshire in the UK,
Huh.
where he married his friend's sister, Elizabeth, who was an accomplished ceramicist herself. And they opened an art school together.
Art.
And yes, I was gonna burp again. And I also didn't make a note of this either, but he was like really accepted into their family. They were friends from university, and he kind of like joined their family business with the like his friend and the dad, and then the relationship with the sister came along as a bonus. They were very successful in their art school, and their photography skills were so impressive that they even caught the eye of Queen Victoria, who commissioned photographs that were then put in a time capsule that was then put into the foundations of Cleopatra's Needle, which is,
Um,
as it sounds, an Egyptian obelisk from the New Kingdom that was gifted to England in 1819 by the Egyptian viceroy, and it's now on the bank of the Thames in London. Never heard of this thing before in my life, but it exists. So, speaking of time capsules, when I was hanging out with my mom the other day, I think it was when we were at dinner, and I just looked at her and I was like, oh shit, I forgot to get my time capsule from my grandma's garden, which
oh
I
no.
think I buried. My school did a lot of like big stuff for the millennium at the
Hmm.
time.
Well, yeah.
Like I have a coin from it and like we all got these coins and
It's
everything.
2000. Like, when are you gonna see that shit again?
Yeah. But she was like, it's fine. because my dad like he's an acquaintance with the guy who bought the house, so like,
Okay.
if we need to go, it wouldn't be weird if I just showed up and I was like, "Yo, can I dig up your yard real quick?"
Yeah, it's not like some Airbnb owner or
Yeah,
something.
and he's a gardener, so he might find it first.
Oh, nice.
Um, I know where it is. It's in the hedgerow. Anyway, all that to say, Louis was becoming pretty well known. So fast forward to 1881, he and his wife, whose name is Elizabeth, by the way, they decide to settle in the US after business opportunities presented themselves. He became the manager of a group of French artists who specialized in creating panoramas of historical battles that they exhibited across the country, which is pretty cool for the 1880s.
Yeah.
And Louis thought he could make them more realistic if he could add movement to the background photos. So he started experimenting. I'm gonna turn this light off. It's really bothering me. Okay, there we go. What he ultimately came up with was a 16 lens camera. So like a new iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And he patented it, but it didn't give him the result he wanted, so he kept working. And important to note, he patented it in the US here. But it didn't give him the result he wanted, so he kept working at it. But he needed funding, and he approached Thomas A. Edison
Oh,
himself.
now I know what we're talking about. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
uh,
I'm there.
and the A stands for asshole.
Yeah.
Just kidding, it's not. Do you
Stands
know
for
what his middle name?
anus. Arthur?
Alva.
Alva. Oh, okay. Alva?
It must
Oh
be like
no, I'm
his
thinking of Alma. Alma means soul in Spanish. Oh, yeah.
in Latin. It's like hour, hours,
Mm.
like alma mater. Alma. Never mind. Okay, I give up.
Yep. Yep.
So this is how it fits into American history, all right? Now, you may be aware, it's fairly common knowledge that Edison invented motion pictures. The
Hmm.
first public display being in 1893. But I'm telling you to buckle up because that shit is wrong.
Oh no. How could this have happened?
As you could probably guess, Edison did not fund Louis' inventions. And other people actually started warning him that Edison was known for stealing other people's inventions and claiming them as his own, even at this time. So it took a while, 6 years, for Louis to find the funds he needed. But it all worked out. He returned to Leeds to establish a workshop because his father-in-law had agreed to fund him, and he owned a foundry, so he had like, resources and workshop space and that kind of stuff. So Louis went back to Leeds to kind of establish his workshop there while he was like experimenting further. And he ultimately created a one lens camera and was successful in what he was trying to achieve. So, on October 14th, 1888, he made what is now known as the first moving picture, or is believed to be the first moving picture. You can look it up if you want. I was going to send you a link to it so that you can like see it as we discuss it. But I didn't have a link ready, of course. It's called, if you can look it up by searching the round hay garden scene. Round as in circular and hay as in straw, all one word.
Huh? Uh-huh.
Yep.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
It's 3 seconds. Oh
Mm-hmm.
wow.
It's
Are they
seven
dancing?
7 frames per
Or
second.
just walking?
It shows one of his children, his in-laws, Joseph and Sarah, Elizabeth's parents, and a family friend named Annie. She's the one who like turns around really quickly.
Uh-huh.
And they're all pretending to walk around a garden. So they're just kind of like stomping around.
Wow.
He did go on to film a few more scenes as well, but this one was the first. And he soon started collaborating with a man named James Longley to build a projector as well. So, it's worth noting that around this time, October 1888, the Edison's assistant, William Dickson, only just started working on the concept of the kinetograph and the kinetoscope, both of
Mhm.
which Edison had described only vaguely to patent agents, as he had no idea how they'd work. So the kinetograph in Edison's design, quote unquote Edison's design, the kinetograph is the camera and the kinetoscope is uh like what you look through to
Oh,
see it. Um
the eyepiece.
yeah, kind of like the things like on the beach or at scenic lookouts where you put the quarter in and you can like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the vibe I got
What,
from them.
do you know which of those like had the mirror part?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
So while this is how, like Edison's just now doing this, Louis was already perfecting the solution to tension issues with the film inside its drum and successfully recording his scenes. So basically, to like get the frame rate consistent, he had to like design something that would move the film inside the machine. And that's the crucial part of the design at this point. It's also worth noting that Edison was not necessarily worried about being the inventor of something, but instead filing patents before anyone else could, so he would still get the credit.
Of course.
So one of the tactics he used was to file something called a caveat.
That's a thing you can file.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't exist anymore, and probably because of him.
Hmm.
So a patent caveat was like a statement of intent to file a proper patent later, like a pre-application. So
Yeah.
they didn't require all of the like specific details of the actual patent application, but you could basically file a caveat and say, "This is my idea." So he could literally say, "I'm gonna make a camera to capture motion pictures," and that's all he had to do.
Wow.
Um,
Jerk.
yeah. And so he would do this for like everything. And then he would get his like team, at Menlo Park or wherever he was at the time. He would get his team to then work on inventing the thing that he had filed a caveat for. You are given 3 months to file a real patent application once you have filed a caveat. Um, oh, excuse me. It
Bless
also
you.
meant that if anyone else filed an application, like even a real patent application for anything similar, you get notified. So
Hmm.
like if someone is like challenging you or is like rivaling you, it kind of artificially creates this patent race, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it bought you time to finalize your ideas, and he clearly took advantage of this system massively. Ultimately, even if someone else filed a real application right away with their idea without having to file a caveat, him filing the caveat that predated the patent application meant that it was your idea first.
It's so strange, but I mean, it makes sense knowing what I know about this part of history,
Yeah,
but it's still like, oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. So Louis' friends and family have witnessed all of his work. They've seen the moving pictures. Some of them have been in the moving pictures. He also, I didn't take any notes of this, but he was also the first person to film on location. He would take his camera, his little
Oh, nice.
wooden box, and like take it. And so like the other few short clips that he filmed are like in different places around London, I think, or
Nice. And
Leeds
not
or
just like a
wherever.
stage
Yeah.
or whatever.
Um,
Hell yeah.
But this is not relatable whatsoever. Louis was a bit of a perfectionist, so he didn't
Oh,
want to he didn't agree to any public presentations about his inventions because he wanted everything to be perfect first, right?
mhm.
Um
That reminds me of Darwin and the other guy
mhm.
who's like, wasn't it, didn't his boat burn or his ship sank or something like that? I don't, but yeah, that reminds me of that. It seems pretty common. People just kind of
Yeah.
waiting because they want something to be perfect, and someone who is just kind of "Wah,
Well, I'm just gonna do it. Yeah. Especially
wah."
I'm gonna do it because I want to say that I did it first.
Yeah, exactly. Even though my
Um,
idea is not fully fleshed at all, or even close to it, actually.
yeah.
I don't know how this is gonna work. Michael, please chill the fuck out.
It
He's
sounded like you
literally
said
been meowing.
Michael.
Oh, he's been meowing like actually nonstop this whole time. Like every 3 seconds, he's meowing.
Milo, you have 6 minutes, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, let me finish this paragraph and then that's actually a really good break time. And I'll
Oh,
just sit here. Yeah, so he wanted everything to be perfect before he put on this public presentation. And he was ready at this point. And his wife, who was still in New York, had arranged a presentation once he got back there. So before returning stateside, he visited his brother in France, Dijon specifically, and he was going to head back to Leeds via Paris. So he would take a train from Dijon to Paris, cross the channel on a boat, get back to Leeds to pick up like his luggage, and then head to Liverpool to sail back to the States. Excuse me. And then once he arrived in New York, he would present his invention and show people the first ever motion picture.
uh,
He boarded the train to Paris with a small black briefcase. And like I said at the top, he was never
oh,
seen again.
I forgot about that part. Fucking weird. Fucking
Yeah.
crazy. He was assassinated for sure. He was taken out
Yeah. You're calling it
by
right now?
Edison's agents. Sorry. Okay.
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 Cliffhanger.
Oh, I unfortunately do have to wait for the alarm to sound.
Yeah, okay. We'll just sit
Um,
here.
so we can just sit here and stare.
I'm not gonna keep going, it's
Actually,
fine.
okay.
Um, yeah. Okay, so a few weeks later, Edison filed his caveat for the kinetoscope,
Hmm.
which was retroactively dated 1888. So he could claim that it was him, not Louis, who invented the
Yeah,
fundamental underlying concept. This is a quote, the fundamental
yeah.
underlying concept of motion pictures.
Because wasn't Louis? Yeah, 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is 1890.
bitch.
Yeah. And in May of 1891, so 8 months following Louis' disappearance, news broke that Edison's newest invention was the motion picture camera.
Mm,
The damning evidence was Louis' solution to the tension issues I mentioned earlier, the way in which the film moves inside the machine, because that was unlike anything else that anyone working on the invention of motion pictures had come up with. And you know who knew that and wasn't about to sit quietly? Our fucking girl, Lizzie, Louis's wife.
oh yeah.
I love this woman. She wasn't having it. Even then, her friends were contacting her after the news broke, being like, "Yo, have you seen this? What the actual fuck is happening?" Because they all knew.
Yeah.
And Lizzie even saw one day that spring of 1891 on a boat as she was going from New Jersey to Manhattan, none other than Edison himself in a conversation with a man she fully recognized as William Guthrie, an attorney that was supposed to be her a friend both to her and her father,
Hmm.
and who had served for a short time as Louis' patent advisor, sitting there chatting it up with Edison. And this is the icing on the cake for Lizzie. She was convinced that Edison had not only stolen her husband's invention, but that he had probably also hired someone to get rid of him to make it easier to steal. And
Thought
everyone
I
knew
was
at this
right.
point that Edison wasn't above stealing other people's ideas and that he often relied on hired muscle to break up labor disputes.
Mm-hmm. What did I say?
And I didn't mention
Edison's
it.
agents.
Yeah, I didn't mention it earlier, but Edison didn't even see motion pictures as being particularly popular with the public. He called them toys. He didn't think they'd make that much money. But after he won the legal battle, which we'll talk about in a minute regarding the
Mm.
patent, and he saw how interested the public was, he established a full monopoly on the movie industry. So anyone who wanted to make a movie had to do it Edison's way with Edison's equipment, or you didn't make one.
Bruh.
And fun fact, it was a group of people who didn't want to play that game who set the stage, so to speak, for Hollywood the town becoming Hollywood the industry.
Oh, there's always those people who are just irritating as fuck, you know?
Yeah. So it's like because of Edison that Hollywood is the way it is.
Oh, oh, there goes the alarm. Give me a second, Milo. Hello?
Oh,
Sup? I didn't hurt my back. Doing
good
all right.
job.
Proud of myself. Probably the alcohol.
So I just opened Facebook and the first thing I see is Great Liberation Day, stock market down over 1,000 points.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I know, everything's fine.
Ha, ha, so good. Ha, ha, fuck. Mm. So what's next, Georgia?
Oh, sorry, Shannon's texting me. Okay.
Edison's agents.
So what did happen to Louis Le Prince?
Shit, I don't know.
Investigations, sounds like you do know. Investigations
Oh.
were launched by both Scotland Yard and the French police. There was no trace of him or his briefcase.
Hmm.
No witnesses reported anything suspicious. No body ever surfaced. There are three main theories. Well, there's like two main theories and one stupid one. It's a little hard to find a lot of information about this, so a lot of theory content honestly comes from a BuzzFeed Unsolved episode, which is how I
Hmm.
first heard about this guy in the first place. So the first theory, we'll just get this one out of the way. He was gay, so he either disappeared on purpose or killed himself.
Okay.
There's
Bitch,
no
what?
no evidence for any of that.
Yeah, okay. I
The
mean, he
second
could be gay, but
Yeah, he can be gay.
goddamn, he had a lot
There's
going for
no
him.
evidence that he disappeared himself or killed himself or anything. And there's also no evidence that he was actually gay. Like, and honestly, if you think about how fiercely his wife is like coming after people for him, I think they're pretty solid, you know. Which, like, I guess they could have been in a fake marriage, but it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Either way. Um, the second theory, money. He was so broke that he either disappeared or on purpose or killed himself, or his brother killed him for owing him money, or he was owed money by his brother. Bleh. It doesn't matter. Like, you could attack it from a couple different angles, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. His brother Albert was the last person to see him. That's who he was visiting before his disappearance in Dijon. No witnesses saw Louis on the train or around the station, and everyone thought this was odd because Louis was like 6'3" or 6'4" at a
Hmm.
time when most
Damn.
men were 5'6".
Yeah.
Um, Albert was the executor of their mother's will, and Louis' share of the inheritance would have been about $150,000 in today's money.
Jesus.
Yeah. And that would have gone a long way in funding, his experiments when he clearly needed help funding them. But also, like, his father-in-law was happy to give him money through their business.
Mm-hmm.
Louis's great-great-granddaughter herself says that this is a stupid motive because Lizzie's memoirs show that they were always a really close family. His wife's memoirs. There's no evidence that Albert really needed the money himself. He was an architect. And Louis's assistant said that even if he did have some bad loans and was relying on the inheritance to repay them, and his brother was denying him the inheritance, Louis would only stand to gain from his public presentation, so why would he disappear or kill himself on the brink of success? It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
It super does not.
Yeah. So the final theory, the one believed by both Lizzie and our most outspoken son, Adolf,
And me.
and you, Edison hired someone to off him.
Mm.
So I want to talk more about the lawsuit really quickly. In 1898, so 10 years after Louis first recorded the garden scene,
Yeah.
and 8 years after he disappeared, Edison was suing the American Mutoscope and Biograph Company, which was established by his former employee, William Dixon, the one doing all the work to try and invent a motion picture camera.
Yeah.
And Edison was claiming patent infringement on his kinetic motion picture camera. They had a non-amicable separation where Dixon stopped working for Edison, and he went on to found this company.
Okay.
The defense called Adolf as a witness. Adolf the French way with an E, not Adolf the German way with no E.
Hmm.
The Nazi way.
Mm-hmm,
I'll
mm-hmm.
say it, I don't care. Adolf had spent a year at this point gathering evidence that his father invented the motion picture camera, not Edison. And the biggest thing he had going for him is that he could prove the Roundhay Garden footage was filmed prior to October 24th, 1888, because his grandmother, Lizzie's mother, Sarah, who was in the footage, died 10 days after that footage was taken.
Oh, fuck. And it was
So
before October 24th when she died?
it was before October 24th when they filmed her in the garden. So October 24th is a date on her death certificate.
Oh.
So it's basically saying, like, this is when she died, but she's in this
Yeah.
footage, so I can prove that she was still alive when this was taken.
Oh, word.
Therefore, this footage was captured earlier than what this guy is saying he invented his motion picture bullshit.
Hell yeah. Bring in the receipts. Right?
What he couldn't prove
Oh.
was that the camera used to shoot the footage was the same one that he had a patent for, and they only focused on his US patent, which was still in development, and it was specifically for the 16 lens camera, the one he didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Not the single lens camera that he developed in England and had filed British and French patents for. This was because the US Patent Office removed the phrase one or more lenses from his patent because they had already issued a similar patent with that language, even though it was for like a photograph camera, a still camera, not a motion picture camera. And
What?
Louis had been fighting the patent office on it for 2 years.
The patent office fucked up. This is crazy. This
I
is
mean,
so much crazier than I thought.
I don't really think I mean, yeah, I don't really think they fucked up and that it's just like pedantics. It's
Yeah.
semantic. It's like it's fucking yeah.
Yeah, well, to me, that's fucking up.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even ask. You just did it. Like, fuck
Yeah.
you.
So, as I said earlier, Edison won. 3 years later, in 1901, Adolf was found dead in the woods, and it was ruled a hunting accident. But many people, including family members, believed he was murdered for his testimony.
Oh,
It's also worth noting, again, that Louis wasn't pronounced dead until 1897, so 7 years after he
really?
disappeared. So until then, it was considered a missing persons case. And in a missing persons case, no one is allowed to use the missing persons patent for 7 years. So Lizzie, who was ultimately Louis's business partner as well, couldn't commercialize his invention until after Edison had already presented it to the world as his own in 1894 and was credited
Oh
as the
my God.
inventor of motion pictures.
This is the worst.
It's infuriating. Like, let's just talk about a couple other things to remind ourselves how much Edison sucks. If you haven't
Okay.
seen the episode of Bob's Burgers, season two, the science fair episode, please go watch it. It's so great. Have you seen this one? The
I
tops,
have,
the
yeah.
Topsy one? God, it's
Yeah.
so fucking good.
Oh my God. Deep cut. Nice job.
So good. So we all know he would travel around demonstrating the dangers of Tesla's AC by having children bring animals and then electrocuting them,
Yeah.
as we see in this Bob's Burgers episode when he electrocutes Topsy the elephant. This is also what led to the development of the electric chair
Oh, that's so good.
because it he claimed that it was humane, and the state of New York had one of Edison's employees develop it for humans. The first execution by electric chair was in 1890 with an alleged axe murderer. Alleged axe murderer. If I'm gonna go to an electric chair, it better be more concrete than fucking alleged. Thank you. Sorry, mom. It didn't work the first time after 17 seconds, so they had to wait for the generator to recharge and then up the voltage, and it took 8 minutes to execute the alleged murderer.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I've heard that the electric chair is pretty inhumane.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Green Mile?
I mean, I remember my dad watching it when I was a kid, and I've refused to watch it ever since.
Yeah.
Like, I no.
Yeah. I mean,
I
yeah.
know what
I'm sure you
happens.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's embedded in pop culture enough that I don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
That's what Shannon the other day, even with Shawshank Redemption, he was like, "Have you seen that?" And I was like, I again, I remember my dad watching it as a kid. I don't care. I don't need I don't want to watch movies that depress me, honestly.
Yeah.
They can be astounding, they can be poignant, they can be cultural, they can be movements. I don't care. If it's gonna depress me, it's not escapism. Therefore, I don't want to watch it.
I'm the same way. My mom was that way my entire life. I always thought like, oh yeah, you never just want to try. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, absolutely, I would rather die than watch Marley and Me. Are you kidding?
Yes, that sounds
Are you
terrible.
kidding?
That's like Stu would always want to watch like Homeland, and I'm like, this is literally like what is happening in the world. This is not entertaining for me. This is the
No.
shit that I'm trying to avoid when I watch TV. I
Oh, you want to watch 1917 about World War One?
I mean, you're over here watching
No.
West Wing, so you don't have that much room to talk about.
I no, but it's so uplifting.
Yeah, I know. I
It's
know.
so uplifting.
Well, and that's like, I mean, I say I don't want to watch anything that's depressing, but like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is super depressing,
Oh,
but I fucking love that
it's
movie. I love that movie because it like, I don't know. Yeah, I get more than depression from it. It makes my little emo heart happy.
well, good for you.
What is it? Like what the fuck is that? Oh, it's the oh, Blink. When Sally Sparrow,
Oh
like
God.
when Sally Sparrow is talking to her friend that gets taken by the angels.
Yeah,
And she's like, "What's great about sad?" And she's like, "It's happy for deep people or whatever."
bruh.
That's how I feel about like, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh my God.
Edison experimented with X-rays to the point that it killed one of his assistants, and then he had the audacity to say that he was scared of them. And this is one of the coolest things that I didn't know prior to looking into this. But Tesla actually invented an early version of radar that would have given the Allies a huge advantage in World War One. But do you know who was heading the R&D section of the Navy at the time?
No.
Fucking Thomas Edison.
Wait, really? Are
So
you
he,
kidding? Wait, really?
so
What?
he blocked its usage.
What?
Tesla invented radar way before it was ever used by the
Yeah.
military, and the military couldn't use it because Edison said, "I don't like this guy. Fuck him. We're not using his shit."
Kidding me?
Thousands of people
Are you kidding?
could have been alive, but Edison had a little tantrum like a child.
I'm so upset right now. I'm so upset for real, for real.
Stickers
Okay.
and buttons for season 2 will include shit talking Thomas Edison. Thank
Oh my
you.
God.
Forget Richard Burton. Fuck.
Yeah.
In 2003, research in the Paris police archives uncovered a photo of a drowning victim from 1890, which everyone thought looked a lot like Louis. The victim showed signs of being beaten, leading people to believe that the case had finally been solved. However, upon digging just the tiniest bit deeper, they discovered that this guy was not nearly tall enough to have been Louis.
Oh, yeah, because he was tall as fuck. That's right.
Yeah. But then, in 2008, a grad student at the University of New York, Alexis
My
Bedford,
like stomach just like dropped into my fucking like hips. Okay, continue. Sorry.
grad student Alexis Bedford, is researching the history of motion pictures in the archives of the New York Library. He said that he'd been going through papers about Edison's work when he came across an old leather-bound book. Like legit sounds like the beginning of a fucking Call of Cthulhu scenario.
Yeah.
And allegedly it turned out to be one of Edison's original notebooks
Oh my
with
God.
notes about ideas and tests and data, which would be crazy exciting, honestly.
Yeah.
And Bedford, he described finding an entry dated September 20th, 1890, that said, quote, "Eric called me today from Dijon. It has been done. Prince is no more.
I knew it. I knew it.
This is good news, but I flinched when he told me murder is not my thing. I'm an inventor, and my inventions for moving images can now move forward."
I'm gonna throw up everywhere.
So Alexis Bedford is like, "Holy shit,"
Pardon?
and shows it to the curator of the library. And she's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy, but I'm not surprised. We got so much stuff here. You never know what you're gonna find." And
Oh
she gives him
God.
permission to take it back to the New York University, and he shows it to historian Robert E. Meyer, who examines the notebook for several weeks to determine its authenticity, including that particular entry. He compared handwriting. He did like the CT scan imagery, what's it called? Like tomography or whatever it's called.
I
Um,
yeah.
what do you think his conclusion was?
That it was real.
Fuck yeah, it
Oh my God. Oh,
was! And like legit, there's hardly anything that outwardly says that. I found one article about it. One fucking article.
is Edison's people still like pushing it down.
Like,
That's
I bet if you ask
crazy.
anyone, they would say, "Oh yeah, Edison invented motion pictures."
We need to fucking get this. We need to get
I
this episode
know.
out there, dude. We need to get it out there.
We're gonna spread the
I'll
word.
pay for the advertising on Instagram. Everyone needs to know about this. This is
Like,
incredible news.
and it's been
Oh my
that was in
God.
2008, and
That
still no
was
one,
17 years
and
ago.
everyone is like, no one really knows what happened to Louis the Prince.
What do you mean? I don't. It's real.
So,
He contracted a killer.
literally,
Edison's a murderer.
like, end of the day, Lizzie was fucking right. A woman's intuition
Jesus
always
Christ.
knows. A woman's intuition
Always.
always knows.
Always gonna trust her.
So
She could
next
be
time,
lying through her teeth and I will believe her.
next time you watch literally any video, think of Louis, give him like props,
Yeah.
whatever, and tell Edison to fuck off.
God, I'm gonna die. I feel like I'm gonna pass away right now. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so nervous that whole time. Wow.
It's not explicitly the patent wars, which is what I put on the schedule, but this is what I really wanted to talk about. So
Yeah, I mean, this was just
this was
incredible.
a small chapter of the patent wars, and honestly, it's all just Edison being a fucking dick, I think, at the end of the day. So,
but there's so much to this that it fills a whole episode. Like, God, you could probably talk for hours about the patent wars.
Yeah, I think there's a couple documentaries and a couple of books, but there's really not anything that like does deep dives on this. So, in the show notes, I'll obviously put my sources like we always do, and they will mention the documentaries and the books that you can read if you're really into this.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's the story of Louis Le Prince. And if you find yourself in Leeds, that's where the National Museum of oof, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the National Museum in the UK where like like cameras, like broadcasting, like that kind of stuff is in Leeds, and they have like his stuff. They have the original footage of the Round Hay film. They also have the original prints of the Cottingley Fairies photographs, if you guys know what those are. Those are the ones that the two girls admitted later were a hoax, but Arthur Conan Doyle swore up and down that they were real, and that's what destroyed his friendship with Harry Houdini, because Houdini was like, no, these are fucking fake, and Conan Doyle was like, no, fairies are real.
That's a teaser for an upcoming episode, Georgia.
Yeah. Yup.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. I'm sweating.
Yeah. So fuck Thomas Edison at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that Bob's Burgers episode, go watch it. It's so good. I get that song stuck in my head way more than probably a normal person should, but it's really good. So
you're fine.
It's one of the best episodes of Bob's Burgers. The end.
The end. I feel like I need to take several deep breaths because I was holding my breath for quite a few times, like, oh, I need more oxygen. God, this is the drama that I just love to hear about. This is like the kind of gossip sesh that I bet people were having in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, like, what else are you going to talk about? Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know, nothing.
Well, that concludes this week's broadcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you wish to stay in touch, reach out to us at broadcastfromthebelfry@gmail.com or stalk us on Instagram at broadcastfromthebelfry. Again, I hope you've enjoyed our little show. Please rate, and review. And until next week, stay spooky.